if you're doing an audio only podcast, I would say that I love audio. I'm a huge fan of podcasts, but I am really big on the idea of incorporating video into that podcast. And I'll tell you why. Just because we had talked about, in the last episode, I talked about the interest-based algorithms, and the real power from a podcast is going to be the short clips that you get from it, especially when you're brand new, because nobody knows who you are. Nobody, people aren't aware of you as a brand. If you've got a big following on a social media platform, that's a different ball of wax. But if you're getting started doing just an audio podcast, I think that's going to be the slowest burn of anything. But if you can incorporate the video element into it, you're going to have a better shot at just getting more eyeballs faster, essentially, because you can take, I'll use one of my, a podcast that it's a great example of this. I live in Kansas City, lifelong Chiefs fan, long suffering until the Mahomes era, which started, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever. But the New Heights podcast featuring the Kelsey brothers, this is a great example of using these clips as a serious tool, because I went and I follow them on Instagram and I follow them on TikTok. So I see the clips, and the clips are super, super engaging, right? And the reason is that even if you're not a great broadcaster, like you're listening to my podcast right now and it's long form, if you're listening to the whole long thing of it, you're going to notice that he hasn't done this very long. Like a seasoned broadcaster, a radio professional would rip me apart, because my chops aren't that great yet, because I haven't been doing it that long. This is the third solo. It's a totally different if you're having a conversation with somebody, because it's a conversation. So you're talking back and forth. But when you're doing it on your own, this is truly like a broadcast, right? And the beauty of the New Heights podcast is, while those guys their long form podcast was a little tough to listen to at times for me. And I love those guys. Like I think they are, I love their personalities. Of course, Travis is a Chief. So to me, it's like, I like the fact that he seems authentic and they're showing their authentic selves, which is, again, this is a very intimate medium, podcasting. But when you do the long form stuff, number one, you're getting better at doing the long form stuff. And number two, you get the short form clips from it that you can chop up. And even if you dance around a topic, if you kind of stumble through your words or whatever, you pull the stumbling out and you get yourself a killer 15, 30, 45 second video of just spitting fire, right?